If only I didn't have to do this every single time, man. Hello, hello. Are we working? Are we alive? Hello, hello. Yes, we are. Are we working? Are we alive? Hello, hello. Yes. 아, 뭐야. 맨날, 매일. Yo, Pro-style pancakes. How you doing? I know I got your answer. I saw your answer on the poll to this. Community. Let me look up the poll. Actually, surprisingly, it's okay. Only 62 votes, but it's 60% T1 and 40% Gen G. We are live, which is actually surprisingly really close to what I think it should be. I think I'll wait a little bit until people start joining, but I definitely. Oh boy. I definitely think that a lot of people are overestimating Gen G. A lot of people are underestimating T1, and the opposite is happening. A lot of people are overestimating T1, saying it's going to be a 3-0. A lot of people are underestimating Gen G. And the factor of like, oh no, what is going on? There we go. Wait, how do I fix this? Okay. Uh, let's fix Y. Oh. Oh wait, dude, this is weird. Okay, that should be fine. Yeah, I think the conversation around boom. The conversation around T1 Gen G. You got Gen G. Hey, Pandy Zandy. All right, I see you. I see you, Pandy Zandy. I actually think it's closer than people expect. Despite what happened last week, yeah, G2 is the favorite. I reckon. Hey, Mateus Kolnitz. It's really difficult for me to imagine a world where G2 win when they're not playing. That's like one of the things that G2 has always says, like, oh, we're about to win. We're here to make it to win worlds. Like, can you at least make it to group stage? Make it like do something before you start talking? You failed what 3 years in a row now? The fourth year you didn't even make it to world. So I don't know. G2 be talking a lot. Um it's hard to pick it's hard to pick T1 for me when I watch them lose to Genji all the time domestically. That's the thing. That's like the biggest thing. If we're talking about current performance, I think anyone saying that Genji are favored is just like wrong, objectively. What we have seen from T1 up against TES and in general at Worlds, they have been ramping up and they have been looking very clean. They have definitely looked better than Genji. Genji in Swiss looked really good. They looked very powerful, especially like pulling out these different compositions that we haven't seen, pulling out the Twitch, pulling out the Nocturne. I guess technically we've seen it in the VCS, but the Nocturne, Ari plus Aurora, like what we saw, Keen is playing out of his mind. We're seeing a lot of good. We saw a lot of good things from Gen G. We are no longer seeing that. We did not see. They were making uncharacteristic mistakes. There's a difference between a team playing well and a team and winning, and a team not playing well and winning. Like people were saying, "Oh, TES just got stomped because T1 are just that much better." It's like, yes, T1 were better than TES, but that doesn't mean that that's TES's level, right? TES underperformed. If we saw TES that won 14 straight games in LPL, like that's very different level of TES. It's just they choked, right? Same thing with Gen G. Chovy, like, look, I am not on the choky narrative. I will like he has in the past 2 years, he has not choked, right? He has been like a hard carry. But dude, I watched him not flash a flash Alistar combo, and I was like, oh snap, okay, he's still waking up. It's game one. He's still warming up. And then I watched him like fail mechanically. He doesn't buffer an Oriana. Oh, like what was it? What, Chovy? Again, if a different player said this, you're like, man, he should have done that. But if you see Chovy playing like that, he was getting railed in that Kassadin matchup. And again, Ori into Kassadin, like expected, but you expect Chovy to do Chovy things. Games 4 and 5, he did. He Chovied. But like he had 3 really weird games. And I don't know why that is. He's playing against an easy team. He should just be smurfing. Like, watch him play against KDF. Watch him play against Nongshim. Like, Chovy is Chovying all over their faces. He is making a name for himself. Like, that was not the Chovy of old. He didn't tilt completely, but still, he kind of shrunk a little bit. And Keen and Canyon really had to pick up the pace and the mantle. What we saw from Pays and Lehens, like, that was strange. But again, that's not Chovy. So, yeah, right now, individually performing, I would say Guma, like, the T1 bot lane is just going to murder GenG if we don't see them play the same way that they did in LCK. And here's the thing. They play each other so much and so often that they kind of know each other and they know what they want to do and they know how to beat them because they beat them at everywhere. Aren't they like, I think in scrims they went 20-1 or something crazy like that. GenG beat like just absolutely destroying T1. And that's a mental edge that you cannot ignore. You can't ignore the fact that GenG just absolutely destroy you every time you play them. There's a reason Doran was like Zeus's father. And it's not because Doran is the best top laner in the world, only against Zeus, but it has something to do with how GenG just know how to beat on T1. So that's the main reason I would say if you're favoring GenG, that is the only logical argument because they did not show a better performance than what we've seen from T1. T1 are playing like world champs. They are defending their title and they are playing at the highest of level. I would love to see this T1 play against JDG, BLG. Like, I would love to see them play against Weibo. This is the T1 that, honestly, should have been there from spring. Spring finals, this was T1. Then they go to MSI and they kind of started disappearing. They showed up a little bit at EWC, only at the finals, though. I guess against BLG as well. And then again, like, they kind of disappeared. Lost twice to Hanwha Life. Lost to TES the first day of Swiss. I know people are going to forget that, but yes, they did play TES in the best of one and lost. And then they started waking back up. But the form we saw them against TES was better, and now they're here. And we're ready. This is a real championship. This reminds me of 2022 when EDG played against DRX, and DRX had to reverse sweep the reigning champions in order to even make it to semis. Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see these epic matchups. Unfortunately, we only get 3 more. But this is the level I want Team 1 playing. And I want GenG to play to their level because I want to see them. Like, I want this to go to 5. I want this to be reminiscent of like 2022 Damwon versus T1. I want this to be reminiscent of like the 2016 T1 versus not DRX or Kings. Wait, Rocks Tigers. There we go. Rocks. Like, I want this to be an epic matchup because I don't have that much faith in Weibo versus BLG. I feel like whoever's going to win is going to take it over. But I think this Gen G T1 is going to be a series for the generation. So please, Gen G, play well. T1, don't crumble. Like, I know they've beaten you across the head a bajillion times, but not tomorrow. In 2 days is your day. In like 36 hours, that is your day. That is your time. You rise up. You are world champions. You rose up against JDG, who are the best team to ever play League of Legends, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions. You rose and you destroyed that team. You can do it. Like, don't let the mental get to you. Owner, I know you talk about how you're not a confident jungler. You've been playing amazing. Take over, man. The song Takeover was made for you guys. All right, let me catch up with chat. G2 had hard matchups. I mean, yeah, the Worlds is meant to be hard. I'm not even saying compared to NA. I'm not saying like, oh, NA is making out, but G2 aren't. Like, look, if you can't win these best of series against these teams, then like you were never going to make it far. You know what I mean? Like that's my point mainly. It's like if G2 are serious about winning Worlds or making it to finals, they need to be one of these teams. But the fact that you're not beating these teams, the fact that you lost to the 4 seed of, again, T1, we're playing better, but like, you should have beaten Hanwha Life. You should have beaten T1. Like, coming in, G2 were playing better than T1. So this year, last year, I mean, this year, G2 were playing better than they did last year. So I don't know what you can do with G2. I mean, they both played Hanwha Life. They both played Hanwha Life. They both played the weakest team from the region. Like, G2 played Weibo, which arguably was the weak at that time were the weakest LPL team. They were the 4 seed. And then G2 played Damwon. I guess the difference is they had to play BLG versus Team Liquid, and they did play T1, but I guess they played Hanwha Life as well. Yeah, they did play harder teams. I will say that. But either way, like, if you want to be a top 4, top 2 team in the world, you have to take some of these series. You can't lose to Hanwha, T1, and BLG and then say, oh, we're a top 3 team. Like, you just can't do that. You know what I mean? And again, FlyQuest are not top 3 team. They couldn't beat GENG. Like, they couldn't beat Hanwha Life when it really mattered. They couldn't beat GENG. Yes, they got lucky with the draw, but that doesn't. That's why you're not in the top 4 right now. And the reason I bring that up is because G2 always say, like, oh, we don't care. Like, Broken Blade was saying, like, it doesn't even matter if we make it out and play against GENG and, like, lose 0-3. Like, we don't care about that. We want to make it deep. And if you want to make it deep, like, you need to beat these teams. You just have to. Failed? No, I have ticket to watch Caps win World Finals in 2 weeks. Mateus, comment. I'm really sorry to say this, but you might want to refund those tickets, my man. Also, it's more like in a week, isn't it? GENG was rusty for not playing in over 2 weeks. Oh, that's true. That's another thing. Not Mako. Who was it? Was it Weiwei? Yeah, it was Weiwei from LNG. Mentioned, like, yeah, it probably did affect us. The fact that we went 3-0 and, like, had like 2 weeks where we didn't play. So it really could be that definitely could be part of it. But here's the thing: GENG were rusty after LCK finals, but they showed up day 1 of Swiss. They showed up day 2 of Swiss. They showed up day 3 of Swiss. So, like, is that really an excuse? I don't know. Should T1 be favored to be champions this year then? Pro style pancakes. Yes. The way they're playing, yeah. I mean, I know it's a hot take to say T1 right now are favored to win Worlds, but the aggression that we're seeing the early game, like, I would still think BLG were to be able to beat them. I think GENG is close. I don't think there's a clear favorite. I think they're a top 3 team for sure. I guess 3 out of 4. I don't know. It's hard to say. If BLG keep playing how BLG play and T1 keep playing how T1 play, I think it's going to be a 5-game banger, and I think anyone can take it. Remember, think of JDG at MSI 2023 against T1 in the upper bracket finals. Like, I can expect a game like that. It could go either way. But I would favor them over GENG if we keep seeing the same performance. Yeah, no, GT is not a top 4 team. I still think they should have made quarters, then Fly. Well, I don't think they should have made quarters then Fly if they didn't play against FlyQuest. Yes, FlyQuest got a easier matchup, but give GENG FlyQuest and then we'll see. Give G2 FlyQuest and then we'll see. I still think that FlyQuest has shown me more. Like how they played against Han. I guess G2 did throw completely against Hanwha, like, and against T1. Didn't they have 3 inhibs against T1 and still lose that game? I don't know, man. I don't know. I did have easier matchups. GENG, I think they also weren't ready for the big crowd noise in Paris because Swiss Stage was a much smaller venue, way less pressure. Well, dude, the Paris venue is not even half the size. Okay, I don't know about half the size. I don't know the size of the Paris venue, but there's no way it's in any way. It does not dwarf Chengdu, China. Like the theater, the arena they were playing in China, where they won 3-1 twice against BLG and beat TES, like, at MSI this year, was ginormous, and they showed up. So I don't know. Lehens was like the MVP of the tournament to me. For me, that, like, how many months ago was it? MSI was in May, right? Yeah, it was the first week of May. 5 months ago. 5 months ago, this guy's MVP of the tournament, and now I don't know. I don't think it gets pressure. I'd be surprised if it was pressure, considering how much international. This is the third international tournament this year. They played on ginormous stages. The stage that they played in against Hanwha Life was huge. The place they in summer they played against T1, won 5 games. That was huge. I don't know. I don't necessarily buy that. It could be. I'll ask. Honestly, if I get a chance, I'll ask about the Paris venue and if that affected. But I don't think anyone really thought of that, so no one asked Keen that question. Um, Top side for T1 versus Genji will be crucial to tip the balance. Hey Shinji Miro. The only thing is I actually think Kenyon and Keen are the best performers on Genji right now. Keen had a series of a lifetime. Like Keen refuses to lose. Do I think Keen is better than Zeus right now? I'd say yes. I do think he's better than Zeus, but I think Zeus is one of those top laners that can be the best top laner in the world, and he can definitely take over. We just haven't seen him do it in recent history, like in the past year, right? He's lost every single finals he's been into. He's been in, or like he lost all the LCK games against Genji, so I don't know. Keen has been a lifeline for Genji. Yes, exactly. And Canyon bouncing back with carries like Nidalee. Yeah, his Nidalee is insane. Like it should be illegal for someone to be that good at Nidalee that he just like warped the game. When they had the double AD carry comp in game 4, they had the Tristana mid and the Ashe AD carry, and just Canyon throwing spears and then giving Tristana the attack speed steroid, and Tristana was just like destroying people. And then just the fact that Canyon was just like jumping and hopping and just using every single ability was really beautiful to see someone play like that. If T1 topside can outmatch that, it'll be a steep hill for T1 to overcome. You mean a Gen G? It'll be a steep hill for Gen G. Keen is not as good as Zeus. Hey, Hyogo, or Higo. Keen is stable, dude. Keen had an amazing series. He's not just. First of all, Keen has always loved playing his carries. Like Keen is known for Quinn. Keen is known for playing Renekton. Keen is known for playing a lot of stuff. Now on Gen G, when you have Chovy and you have Baze and you have Canyon, sure, you want to play like the Cassante. But again, he had carry performances on Cassante. He had really good performances on the Renekton. He was solo killing Urgot. Well, that's not a matchup. Urgot should be getting solo killed. I understand the TP bot kind of screwed him. Yeah, I get it. But he played his matchups well. And I think that it's very hard for Zeus to break him. And I think overall, like, Owner's playing really good. So I don't know. It's a really spicy matchup. It's just, are Pays and Lehen's gonna keep doing what they've been doing? Because that was a very pitiful performance. Look at Pays game three against Hanwha Life, going on the Twitch, ulting everybody, just like completely destroying the teams. And then look at how he played today, or not today, last week. It was just, that was not Pays. That was not the Pays. Eing forward, getting double killed. Like, yeah, that's you can't be doing that on the world stage. Where's my Cloud City Faker interview at? It probably won't happen. I think. Can I say this? I think it's really hard to get T1 interviews. Because everybody wants T1. So I really doubt I will be getting a Faker interview. I would love to, but I doubt it. So we'll see. I've been requesting him every single time, and next year, if Faker's still playing, they better give me an interview. Like, come on, man. Yeah. What I definitely hope to see from T1, their own style of clutch plays to break the standard gameplay of Genji. So I don't think that they can pull out like what FlyQuest did. I think the main like creativity that they have is actually Keria. Keria is the one pulling the Bard and the Pike and like doing all those like super creative things. And I think when Keria and Owner work together, they're able to really push the pace of the game and understand when they want to fight, when they don't want to fight, how to get picks, how to make sure they're not fighting team fights in positions that they don't want to because they get a pick earlier. And like they're very good at doing that kind of stuff. So I think, I don't know that we'll see like the set and the fiddlesticks and like really warp the game that much. But in terms of like playing their own game, Genji just knows their game so well. So I don't know that you do that. Maybe you do like stick Faker on Seraphine and be like, we're gonna play like Seraphine, Lulu, and go like a Xin Zhao or a Viego and just like hyper Gary owner and carry the game through owner. I don't know. I don't know what you have to do, but um, it's definitely not. I don't think T1 can surprise Genji enough with their play style and their like, clutch plays enough just because Genji knows them so well. I agree. Higo Keen is really solid for the team and does his part as a top laner. I think y'all are underestimating Keen, man. Although most of all, I'm worried does T1 get hard countered in draft with Gen G scaling drafts. So yeah, that's the other thing that was kind of interesting with Gen G. Like they drafted a little weird games 1 and 3, 1, 2, and 3. Even like I guess the Kassan makes a little bit of sense, but that game they really should have lost 0-3. Like that Kassan game was disgusting. They only picked smaller game 5. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what. Maybe the Ari words are hard. Ari Prio falls, and they just like stick with the Smolder, stick with the Tristana. Why can't I word today? Tristana, and just play that way. That could be a possibility, but I think it's. What does T1 like? What does T1 ban? You're not going to open the Yone Aurora, right? Because you just as T1 you have to ban them. You don't play the champions. Zeus plays Yone, but you don't play the Aurora unless Zeus plays it. But then that warps your dynamic, and that's not what T1 likes to play. Like on red side, T1 probably bans Yone Aurora, right? Last ban, maybe Jax, maybe like a Nocturne, maybe do you ban the Smolder or the Ziggs? Like what do you ban, right? And then you still like Genji have scaling drafts. So I don't know. It's very difficult to stop. Like we just don't have enough bans for the amount of power champions that we have, which I love. I hate it when there's like 2 OP champions and you can't let anyone have them. They might ban the Rumble. Rumble has been like really good. Maybe Genji ban the Rumble. I don't know. Maybe you can go into like a mock draft. I'm not very good at drafting, but I think there's a lot of things that the teams probably don't want to face. Are we going to see different priorities on AD carries? Because that's one thing that was happening in a lot of the series. The AD carries were getting really, really pinched. You were having to click like Jin, Mosquito Jin in spots where you have like triple tank. It was getting very, very uncomfortable for the AD carries. And then what do we see? B1 Ashe. Like, and then they were banning Ashe on red side, so maybe you have to ban Ashe on red side. If you're T1, you're playing red side, you have Ashe, Ziggs, like Rumble, Aurora, Yone. Like, you can't ban everything. If you want to ban the Jax out as well, like, there's too much to ban. So I think if Genji want to play scaling drafts, they will get their scaling drafts. The question is, do T1 just heavily invest into the early game, like go all out Draven, Pike? What's a super early game champion? And like Trend scales pretty hard. Set, I guess, is another champion that's super early game. Yeah, do they just go the Nidalee route and go super early game and try to stomp Genji? I don't think you're strong enough to beat Genji. Who knows? That's what I'm excited to see. Like, what strategy do you have? That's why I asked TES, I asked Mako, like, why didn't you guys go red side? And he was like, I don't know, the coaches had some sort of strategy and we didn't go red. That was very baffling to me because, like, if something doesn't work that many times, like, you gotta change something up. You gotta get them to show more. You have to have different strategies that you have saved up to pull them out. Like, I don't know, man. There's also dive comps, right? Maybe T1 go with the Kaisa. They go with the Kaisa Nocturne, like dive comp, Kaisa Nocturne. You stick Faker on Galio. You give owner like Nocturne and just dive them. I don't know. There's so many different possibilities. Like the meta is so nice right now. It's so nice. There's just so much open. You can do so much. Although most of game 3 was a really big mistake on the tower dive that got Masu the double kill early. Yeah, it wasn't even a dive. Like they backed out and then Whippo TP'd, and then Ezreal ease in to try to kill the Urgot, ends up getting a double kill to Kaisa. So yeah. No, I think Keena's a beast. Like he's perfect for team fights. I missed one. Do you think FlyQuest exposed most of Genji's cards for T1 to study for a week? I don't think T1 can emulate what FlyQuest was doing. So I don't think it really matters. I think if you had a team like G2, if they were playing against G2, it'd be like, oh snap. That is like worrying. But I think T1 as a like when T1 play the best T1 League of Legends, they don't look anything like what FlyQuest was doing. So unfortunately, no, I don't think so. Maybe if they start playing the Seraphine and like if they play like a Seraphine, Ashe, Alistar, or Nautilus, like sort of comp, maybe then Genji have to ban it on blue side as well, and like all of a sudden you win yourself a ban, you're winning draft. Like that could be a possibility. Early game drafting for Team One would probably only work once and not for the whole series. That's true. Yeah, I think that's a one-time card for T1. Yeah. Do you think the version of T1 could out macro Genji? Ooh, I don't know that they could out macro Genji. I think in general LCK teams have very good macro. I just think that they could definitely make Genji very uncomfortable. Like they could put Genji in situations where they're lose-lose just because their innate power of the champions that they have are just better. And Genji deciding like, hey, we don't want to fight this. We want to go 4 or 5k down and then fight when we're ready, which we've seen Genji do before. So I don't know how uncomfortable you can make Genji when they're so used to being like letting you have early game. Um, do I think they could out macro them like one game and like really just play the Bard and really make it uncomfortable for Chovy, like heavily target him and just gank for everybody ganking Canyon in his jungle? Like that could happen. We could see a game plan like that. But like what they were saying earlier, I think that's like a one game strat, and that's probably not going to work multiple times because it can easily fall. Oh, because it can. Oh, I think it's a one-time card for T1 because it can easily fail, or even if it succeeds, Genji will figure it out. Yeah, that I agree with you, Shinji. Like that's something that might not exactly work multiple times. Like you can't prep for that to work every single game. Like maybe if you're down 0-2, you pull that out. Maybe if it's a game 5 and you're just like, yeah, what's working isn't working, you can pull that out. But I don't know. Or maybe game 1, you're like, okay, game 1, we're gonna really try to surprise them. Try to get a win on red side if you're on red side game 1. Like get counter pick for top lane and mid lane because we know, or like get a super solid counter pick for your bot lane, play through that. There are a lot of different ways that we've seen teams prioritize. Like we've seen a R5 Sejuani. We've seen a last pick Sejuani. Let that sink in. Sejuani, everybody expects Sejuani to be played. If you pick Sejuani, it's not like, oh my god, it's a complete. It's not like a Sejuani support, a Sejuani mid lane or top. It was a Sejuani jungle. So like the priorities, we've seen a B2 second pick on blue side, a fiddlestick. So like we've seen a lot of weird, not weird, but very intentional prioritization of like what they want to do. So I think it does benefit T1 that the meta kind of is open. I want to see what happens with Jinx. I really want to see what happens with Jinx. Then wouldn't a draft revolving around team fight but forcing objectives skirmish be able to out macro Genji? Yes, I think if you actively forcing Genji, I don't think it's out macroing is a thing. I think it's like if you play Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Maybe not Yu-Gi-Oh. What's another example? Like Hearthstone or TFT, right? You can like economy and lose early so that you have a really strong comp at the end of the game. And that can be something that we see. And I think that's what Genji is more comfortable with. I don't necessarily think it's out macroing when they're actively opting into it. Where I think that it can out macro them, I don't think we're gonna see a dizzy Genji. Like I don't think they're gonna make them dizzy. They're gonna be cross mapping and they're gonna be losing waves, and that's generally what I think of out macroing. Is like wherever you think they are, wherever you don't think they are, or you think it's safe, it's not safe. When you think that you're getting an advantage one side, they're actually getting much more of an advantage. That's sort of what I think of out macroing, where like the opponent has to keep constantly responding to you and playing this ping pong game where like, oh, we're topside. Okay, we're all going topside. Oh snap, it's too late. They're already all bottling. Okay, oh, we're going bot. Oh my god, they took the dragon. It's too late. Like that's sort of what I think out macroing, and I don't think that they can actually do that. Like heavily objective control type of comps. The thing with heavy objective control comps is that they fall off. That's the problem. Unless, yeah, they tend to fall off. Unless Genji goes super scaling, like 30-minute level scaling, and you like get a 22-minute Dragon Soul, 28-minute Elder, like that could work. But I don't think Genji would let that happen, and I don't think T1 plays that as well. Like we've seen them delay Dragon a lot. So by delay, I mean like take an 8-9-minute Dragon. It's going to be very hard to get all the dragons and the grubs and the herald and like really push the game forward that way without giving something up to your opponent, especially when they're this good like Genji, right? Then would a draft revolving around team fights? Oh, I read that. Do you think Genji underestimated FlyQuest severely, that it bit them in the butt? Yes, I think so. I think that has to be the case. I can't imagine a world where they were that they would show like this if they were playing against BLG. I feel like they would maybe not play the Kassadin if they were playing against BLG. I don't think that they necessarily would. Actually, I don't know. Maybe game one. I think okay, game one. I think they disrespected them. They went like a not very Gen G comp, and maybe the idea was like, hey, we're gonna hide picks because we don't want to give T1 any information on what we're playing, or we want them to think we're playing this when in reality we don't actually prio this very much. Now Toby's Ari is a really good Ari, but overall, like they weren't playing the like, hey, let's scale. They weren't playing that Nocturne with Ori. I guess they couldn't play Nocturne Oriana game one. Maybe they could. I don't think. No, Oriana was banned game one. Was it? I don't remember. Maybe it was banned game two. No. FlyQuest played Oriana game two. Whatever. Like I don't think we saw them play a lot of the matchups that they normally do. So maybe game one, but then game two, game three, like I really think they were playing what they wanted to play and how they wanted to play. And they were banning, like they were respecting the Seraphine, they were banning it on blue side, like they banned it every single time. They were actually actively like trying to pick comps that worked. I think FlyQuest just really, really showed up. And like whenever Genji made a mistake, FlyQuest capitalized, which is not normal. But I think after game one, they kind of like woke up. So I would say game one, sure. So would a cross-mapping T1 be disadvantageous versus Gen G in that case? I think no. I actually think that it could work. I think you could counterpick like a Camille into Cassante, right? And just play a Camille Galio comp and have your Camille just split push. You could play a Camille. What's a split pusher in mid lane? You can't really play Camille Jax, but you can play the Jax. You can play the Camille like Zeus or Zeus, whatever you want to call him. He is good at it. So I do think that's an opportunity. They can definitely try to leverage that. It's just objectives are so OP. So like if you take the first three objectives, if you take the first three dragons and heralds and stuff, that puts Gen G like they have to force every dragon. Then maybe you can let go of a dragon and like get an inhibitor. Maybe you can get a Baron. It's just Gen G are so good at like knowing when they need to fight, and if they realize they're losing the cross maps, they're just gonna force on Baron, and Gen G have a really clean turn. So that's a little scary, but they could. T1 could definitely try that. I would be down for Zeus playing Camille. Camille Gallia, ooh, I would be down for that. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought game one was a very basic disrespect game. Yeah, I think so. A heavy AP comp into Galio game one was very disrespectful for sure. What did they pick? They picked Rumble, Ari, and what was their jungler? It wasn't Italy. That was game two. They had a Jinx. I don't know. They had a Jinx. Game one, they had Jinx. It wasn't. Was it Jinx Leona or was it Jinx Nautilus? I think it's one or the other. I think they were picking between both. I think they picked Leona, and then what was their jungler? I don't remember their jungler. All the games kind of blur in together because we had four best of fives all after each other. Skarner, that's right. They B1 Skarner. Yeah. They first picked Skarner. I remember that now. Yeah, dude. Okay, Skarner doesn't. Skarner. Okay, think of Skarner, Rumble, Ari. Okay, I can see Skarner Ari. I don't really see Skarner Rumble. That doesn't seem like a matchup that's really that goes well with each other. I don't know. That seems a little weird. But I guess Skarner is a power pick, and then maybe they wanted to play Rumble because they couldn't. I don't remember. Were there other options top lane? Maybe they didn't want Rumble. Oh, okay. So this is probably what happened. They didn't want to ban the Rumble, and they didn't want Rumble to be played against the Jinx because Jinx like you don't have mobility, you don't have a spell, and like Rumble can just ult you, and like Jinx can never get a reset if there's just a Rumble carpet in front of you. So maybe that's what happened. Um, yeah, maybe they were lackadaisical. They didn't prep well enough for FlyQuest, or they prepped for what FlyQuest showed in against Hanwha Life and against Team Liquid, and like that wasn't what FlyQuest showed at all. And yeah, um, game three was a real L, I think. Yes, I think so too, Pandy. I keep wanting to call you Panda, but Pandy Zandy. What would you be ideal scenario then for T1 on each role? Like for example, Faker being able to stay even and neutralize mid. I want to see. Okay, I want to see them play the things that can like really accelerate the game. I want Gumayushi to be on. I don't know that I necessarily want like a Draven Pike lane. I actually don't think that's where they excel. I want to see carry on Bard. I want Guma to have like something that is self-sustainable. If they play the Ezreal, give him Varus. He's like really good Varus. Don't put him on Kaisa. Don't put him on Zeri. Put him on something that he plays. Even if you have to play the Jinx, the Twitch, like give him something that Guma is good at. Have Faker. Don't give Faker Yone. Don't give him like Aurora. Don't give him like these matchups. Don't give him the Smolder. Give him something that he's comfortable on. The Ari, the Galio, the Nico. Like give him Oriana. Give him something that can really accelerate the game with Owner. Give Owner some life. Give him the Vi. Give him the. I don't really necessarily want to see Skarner, but give him a Sejuani. He makes a lot of early game plays with Sejuani, and get a really good matchup and champions that can like allow Zeus to push his leads. Give him the Camille, give him the Fiora, give him the Rumble, give Zeus something that, like, if you want to play range tops again, I don't think it's really good right now against the champions, especially if you're a dive comp. But like, if you see an angle, give him the smaller top, give him the vein, like give him something. I think get them on really comfortable champions where they can really push their leads because their early games are really good. And if GenG are 10k down at 20 minutes, they're not coming back from down. If they're down 4 or 5k, I can see it. And I think that's what you want to do. You want to make GenG uncomfortable. They don't play the Ivern, but I would love to see like an Ivern, Galio, Camille comp. Like, dude, Camille is never dying with an Ivern. Oof. And a Bard around her. Like, oh, come on. GenG is just too good at getting back gold bounties too when playing scaling comps. Yeah, that's true. Range pick for Zeus, like Vayne as a counter pick for Keen's Cassante, I think, yeah. I think leave that door open. Just because you want to, you always want to, what's the word? You always want to put pressure on drafting resources, right? You want to make it so like GenG are very uncomfortable with what they have to ban and what they can pick because of the results of the bans. Which is something I really liked what FlyQuest was doing. FlyQuest was putting GenG in uncomfortable positions. Okay, they had their bans. Now all of a sudden they have to drop a ban. Now Quad is getting his Oriana. Didn't work out, but at least they were able to get the things that they wanted to because they were pressuring GenG by specific comps and champions that GenG like couldn't allow play. If you have 4 OPs, you show like so many things that GenG are like, we have to ban everything, then they can't ban anything, right? So I guess they can't ban everything. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping T1 really surprise us and push GenG to the brink. Now, it's really hard for me to, even though I see T1's form, I see GenG's form. I think form is temporary, class is permanent, and I think GenG are a class above T1. They just are. This year, this GenG is like incredible. Probably one of the best teams of all times. I would still predict GenG, but with the caveat being that GenG played better than they did against FlyQuest. That Pays and Lehens play better. If they play to their standard, their normal standard, LCK standard, I think it's going to be an extremely fun series. If they play like they played against FlyQuest, this is going to be a 3-0. Like, I'm not even joking. T1 are going to demolish GenG. They're going to eat them alive. I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see T1 just like not be pushed because this team is too good and too entertaining. It's probably the last time we see this team. I don't want to see T1 not be challenged and not go 5 games and not. They were last split against GenG. Like, I have seen it, but at Worlds, I want this T1 to be pushed to the absolute limit. I want to see another T1 BLG, like lower bracket finals at MSI. I want to see another T1 JDG. I want to see Owner have to make these amazing plays. We don't get a Zir shuffle if JDG was not the best team in the world. The fact that they were coming back, like destroying T1 in that game, forced them to get that T1 shuffle, forced Owner to make the amazing route play. Like, we need them to do that. Then what would GenG's win condition? Because I'm hoping T1 understands their win conditions. I think just scale. Just play the champions that you're comfortable with. Play the competitions you're comfortable with. Let Chovy be Chovy. And give them. Don't lose too much in the early game because you're better at Baron setups. You're better at team fighting. You're better at late game. Just get to the late game alive. You will win because you have Jovi. Yo, Trespasser. Hello, hello. How you doing? Welcome. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, I think it would be an extreme shame if we don't get some sort of like challenging series. Like, let's just say the same thing happens. They win 3-1 against NG. It's not even close. They go on to the finals. They play Weibo. They 3-0. They move on with their lives. Like, that's going to be a disappointing to the fans. Like, again, we're going to be really happy for T1. Don't get me wrong. Everyone's going to be very excited for T1. But it's going to be disappointing in the fact that we didn't get T1 pushed to the absolute brink. We didn't see, like, if T1 beat DRX, that would be awesome. Right? The fact that DRX didn't win 3-0, but won 3-2, and were pushed every single step of the way, that really, like, elevates the environment. And again, this isn't, like, competitive integrity or anything like that. It's just from the fans. I want to see T1 being pushed. If they're going to win Worlds, if they look like a World Championship, I think it's the same thing I thought with like, with Halma Life and with sorry, not Halma, with TES. Like, if you don't show up and just like, yeah, if you don't show up, then why are you at Worlds? Like, that's just my question. I understand they worked the entire year, like, worked their butts off to get to where they are, but like, if you're not going to show up when it matters, I would rather see a team that plays to their best of their ability, like what FlyQuest did, like what Halma Life did. Halma, again, okay, Pina had really good Poppy games, by the way. He won one of them, lost the other one. Doron, like, man, I don't want to talk about Doron. Moving on. LNG, for example, like, they should have won that game 3. I'm sorry, it should have been like, or was it game 4? Yeah, they should have won game 3. Like, it was really close. It was very exciting. That's the type of play I want to see. Because it's kind of sad if you're like the best team and no one's even close to you. Like, you don't even get to show off your resilience, your adaptation, nothing. You know, I want to see the best series. I mean, I'm not saying anything like crazy. Everybody wants to see cool, exciting series, right? Genji is not a clutch team. Stefan Baller. Welcome to the stream, first of all. What do you mean Genji are not clutch? They won every single thing. Like, they won MSI facing BLG. By the way, there was a game where Knight on Tristana was like ending the game, and they still won that game. I don't know about them not being clutch, man. They're okay. They're not okay. They're not as clutch as T1. T1 are a lot bigger of clutch. Like, Faker is a very clutch player. Chovy is a very consistent player. His floor is way higher than Faker's floor, but Faker has that clutch factor. I understand what you're saying, but I still think that they do have the clutch factor in them. I'm thinking about this more. I think Canyon and King bring the clutch factor. I think they are very clutch players, as opposed to what Peanut and Doron, for example, for last year. They were not clutch players. I thought Lehens was a very clutch player. I think Lehens, doing MSI, was very clutch. Pulling out the Blitzcrank, like, he's just playing so well on every champion. Right now, he's not playing, like, he had a bad series, but hopefully he, like, recovers. He didn't have an abysmal series, it just wasn't the greatest series in the world. And maybe you could argue it's like the support pool is just very difficult. Genji is not a clutch team, not exciting. They're not exciting, I agree with that, but I wouldn't say they're not clutch, Stefan. I doubt it would be lopsided like a 3-1, because Genji definitely got a wake-up call from quarters. I hope so. Do you know Kenyon's nickname is Polar Bear because he looks like a polar bear? No, but it makes sense. Pandy's Andy. What is polar bear in Korean? Let me check. Naver dictionary. Polar bear. Quengo? Okay. Isn't that just a white bear though? Because Kom is bear, right? Quengom is like a white bear. I don't know. Could be either, but that's funny. Canyon does look like a polar bear. I'm keeping my expectation tempered with a close 3-2 for the other side. I would love that. A team of increments. Yes, I agree. That was the final game, and Keen TP'd back to base and stopped the Camille. Wait, what do you mean? Oh yeah. Wait, was that? Yes, he did. He was playing Rumble, like, they had the double TP. Yeah. I feel like if T1 Wait, could you write it in Hangul, please? I just checked in the dictionary. Never lied to me. Polar bear. Ah, pukkukom. Okay, okay. Pukkukom. Interesting. Is pole pukkuk then? Aw, so he's called a polar bear? That's cute. So why does the first thing that shows up in Naver is Hwengkom? Hingom, I guess. Um, T1 wins game one, it's a wrap? I don't think so. They're a dominant team when they can. Hey, Flower can bloom. I think GenG is the typical, like GenG lost game one against Fly, and they were able to come back game two. I think it also depends on side select. Do we know if they start blue or red? I think that could really matter. I think T1 are not going to do very well on blue side. I think T1 are a red side kind of team, just because on blue side, in general, red side is the one that has to ban the Yone and the Aurora, and Gen G are like, okay, you can have the Yone, we'll pay the smolder. Okay, you ban the smolder, we're banning the or like you want the Yone faker? Sure, take it. North is Pungming, right? Um, for Pok Miguk, I guess North America, and then Cook is what? Let me look. Cook. Extreme or pole. Okay. Pok Cook Com. Oh, that's funny. It's literally North Pole Bear. That's cool. It all depends on game one, in my opinion. It could be. If it was Dorm and Pino, Genji would have lost quarters versus Fly. Kind of agree. That's sad. I'm sorry. I hate the fact that I'm saying this, but yeah, they lose. They lose it in three probably. Genji would have lost quarters of Fly. Kenny and Keen really saved the team fight. They did. Zeus will just pilot Wayne into King's Cassante. I think you mean Vayne into Keen's Cassante. Some other analysts also agree that Genji should prio red side. I don't know that Genji should prio red side. I think T1 should prio red side, which I guess does also mean that Genji should prio red side, but I just feel like Genji, T1 have less options on blue side because you don't get the support counter pick, you don't get the bard, you don't get all these things and advantage that we talked about with T1. They get that because they're on red side. You don't get any of that stuff when you're on blue side. You have to be taking the power pick. You have to put you have to put owner on Skarner when he doesn't want to. You have to put him. He might prefer the Zinzao or the Vi or something else. You have to like make these compromises because you can't just give away two OPs on R1, R2, right? Because that's the thing. You're banning everything, and if there's one OP open, or like there's two OPs open, you want to trade them. You don't want the other team to get both because you can't play it. If Yone and Skarner are both up, if Yone and like it becomes very difficult when trying to draft that way. 한국 분이세요? Pandy Zandi? Some other they have not played a single blue game this tournament except versus Pain. Wait, no, they played a blue game. Were they red side twice against? They were. Were they red side against TES against Pain? Really? Would be insane if they won the tournament playing red side. Yeah, if they just always play red side. I think against G2, I remember they were 3 inhibs down and they were red side. The first game, I think they were also red side. 네? 만나서 반가워요. So, what's your favorite team, Pandy? Then, do you prefer T1 or Gen G? Because I feel like most people I ask, I'm okay. Look, throughout the year, it's very easy to find Gen G fans, like Korean Gen G fans. It's really easy. But then when Worlds comes around, they disappear. They're all T1 fans. I don't know what's happening, but like Gen G fans, Korean Gen G fans, just I don't see them. I don't know where they went. Did they all just become T1 fans, or are they all just like don't say anything? 반가워요. Just don't say anything. Just pretend like we're not. Look, when we beat T1, we'll start talking, but we're not gonna talk before that. I don't know what's going on, but they definitely disappeared. I guess they are pretty active on the Gen G Discord. I will say that. Like if I go to the Gen G Discord, wait, let me. Man, what are you doing? Why'd you do that? I hate it when my phone does this. Um. Okay, I'll stay here. My nightmare would be seeing a scaling comp from Gen G and their comp outranges T1's and they keep T1 at arm's length. I wonder what hard counter the type of dragon from GenG. GenG doesn't have the worldwide fan base like T1 does. Well, I'm talking about I like GenG right now because of how they play. Well, I mean Korean players, not like worldwide, like straight up Korean people, like 한국 사람. There, it just feels like I actually find a lot more international GenG fans. Like my friend, just the other day I met him. He was wearing like a GenG a jacket from last year, I think, and he was like super happy about it. He's like, yeah, it just came in the mail. He was like, he's messaging like Arnold. He's like, yo, how do we get more merch? Like, I feel like there's a lot of GenG fans, at least here where I live, but as opposed to Korean people around where I live, they're all T1 fans. But throughout the year, it's not like they're not loud. I don't hear them. I don't hear anyone talking. But as soon as like World comes around, just all T1 fans. GenG fans disappeared. I don't know what's going on. So Shinji, I think that could be a possibility. Like you just get the Jinx, you let Jinx hyperscale, and like pays just 1v5s, right? That really could be a like we could legitimately see a Cassante top, Galio mid, Jinx AD carry, and then have like a Nidalee or something giving her attack speed a steroid and a Nautilus and like or a Braum or something, and just GenG just get to 3 items and win. That legitimately could happen. Yeah, so GenG, okay, at Worlds, I'm not saying in general, but at Worlds, what I've noticed, like compared to MSI, for example, when MSI was going on, I saw a lot of GenG fans, Korean GenG fans, and Korean T1 fans. Like they both existed. But then now that Worlds happened, all of the GenG fans that I used to see don't talk anymore. Like they're not on Twitter, they're not on like Discord, they're not like even in real life. There was like people who were GenG fans are like, I'm a GenG fan, but like I'm really cheering for T1. Like I've heard that multiple times. So that's mainly what I mean. In Korea, yeah, I think T1 noise is just too big. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. GenG is like just being really quiet right now, which is strange to see because like throughout the entire year, maybe because they lost summer, but like the entire year they were really loud. They were so happy with their team. It was awesome, and then like now they won MSI. They're really happy. I heard them all the time. Like the Discord was popping, everything. Now they're just silent. Why do I have the feeling that Weibo somehow clutches a BO5? Flower Camp Loop, no. No. Weibo are not doing it 2 years in a row. No, I don't want this to happen. I think Weibo looked a little bit better. I think it wouldn't be crazy to say it's a 50-50. They're both really good, but no, I refuse. Okay, I want to see Knight versus Chovy in the finals. I want that to go 5 games. I want it to be the most epic finals we've ever had. Because the last epic final, like last year's finals, were not fun. I want to see Korea versus China in the finals. Well, we're gonna get that, and I want it to be Knight versus Chovy. Always something random about happens in LPL versus LPL at internationals. Yeah, I think probably traumatized from past G internationals, so they're keeping expectations low, not to get disappointed. That really could be it, actually. Now that I think about it, GenG at Worlds, you know, GenG are the only team in history to be eliminated in groups from Korea. We've not counting Swiss stage. Like Swiss stage, Damwon Kia has always been in it. Like every year they just get eliminated. But besides that, from 2013 to 2022, a Korean team has always made it out of groups, except one, the reigning world champion, GenG, in 2018. They didn't win Worlds in 2017 and made it to the finals in 2016 when nobody expected them to, but ever since then, it just hasn't happened for them. I noticed with the recent playstyle of T1, Faker succeed more with mobile champs that can escape from ganks and side lanes and pressure side lanes, similar to what Chovy does, except he likes to flank. Interesting. Their social media following is extremely tiny compared to T1. Yeah, that's true. Also, I feel like T1 fans like don't watch League for the entire year, and then Worlds comes around, they see T1, they're like, oh my god, T1. They start doing all this super cool fan art. Dude, the amount of fan art and fan videos and like all the stuff that I see on my timeline is just incredible for T1. I do want to take a look what you were saying. T1 Wait, goal. I do want to see what T1 has been playing for Faker. Let's look at Faker. All right. I'll share my screen in a second. Actually, maybe it doesn't make sense. Match list. He played, okay, his last games were Galio, Ari, Silas, Ari, Silas, Yone. That Yone didn't look good. It was against Pain Gaming. He lost with Nico. Those are all the games he's played. Silas, Yone, Ari, Nico, and Galio. So yeah, I guess Ari is very mobile. Silas is very mobile. Yone is pretty mobile. Um, their social media following is extremely tiny. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't know about Faker. Okay, Silas, dude. I'm just gonna say this: if Faker is picking Silas, they're losing the game. If Faker is picking Silas, they are losing the game. Silas is not going to be what T1 need to do in order to win this series. That's just not it. I'd much rather him play the Ari, the Nico, the Galio, maybe not the Yone, but I don't know. We'll see. Faker's been heavily marketed for years. This Gen G popped up just now with this new Kenyan Keen Lahens team. But I mean, they've had Chovy for 3 years now, right? Or is it 4 years? No, he was on Hanwha. And then he joined. When did Chovy join? 2022, right? Chovy Law. Chovy joined Gen G. Yeah, 2022. November 2021. So 2022. So he's been there for 3 years now. 22, 23, and 24. When does his contract run out, I wonder? I can't see here. Oh wow, I didn't know his ID used to be Jihun, because his name is Jihun, right? He actually used to have his ID as his name, and then he changed it to Anchovy because of to Chovy because of Anchovy. Interesting. Oh yeah, I'm just reading some trivia about him. T1 seemed to love running Silas into Ari 2022. Yeah, he joined 2022. They do like running. I just okay. Silas is a better Ari. That's true. Like when Silas gets Ari ult, he's just a better version of Ari. But I just don't think Faker and the way T1 want to play should be on Silas. That's just my estimation. I don't think he's like, would owners Lee Sin be viable versus Kenyans in Italy, or should you still be picking frontline or engage through T1? Dude, give him Lee Sin. Give him what he wants. Play Lee Sin or Oriana. Like play or Lee Sin LeBlanc. Like play to owner's strength. Owner is an incredible player. A lot of T1 fans like absolutely undervalue Owner. He has been MVP at like every single international he plays and wins. He is always playing out of his mind. This guy needs a raise. That's what he needs. He needs a raise. I don't know how much they're paying Owner, but however much you're paying T1, Joe Marsh, give this guy a raise. Let him be confident. Let him be in his element. Let him play the Lee Sin. Let him like do whatever he wants. Let me look at Owner. When was the last time he even played Lee Sin? Match history. Okay. His most recent Poppy, Zinzao, Sejuani, Vi, Skarner, Vi, Wukong, Lilia, Skarner, Sejuani. When was the last time he played Lee Sin? The last time he played Lee Sin was in August against Hawa Life, and he lost that game. In the summer playoffs, he played Lee Sin. Okay. Yeah, he doesn't have much. The time before that, he played Lee Sin. He lost as well. Did he lose every single Lee Sin game this year? I think he might have lost every single Lee Sin game. Boa noite, galera. Boa noite, pessoal. Como vai? Think T1 might try to give Smolder and run Lee Sin LeBlanc into it? Please don't. Please don't. Don't. Dude, Chovy's okay. If you want to play Smolder, what beats Smolder? You have to think of what beats Smolder. If he's a super late game champion, you need a super rare late game champion. You need something that's like stronger. What champions are stronger than Smolder late game? You have Kaisa, especially if she goes like the 5 items. She has like Void Staff, her W, like just W. Kaisa just stands back, presses W, kills the entire team. Right? You have Kaisa, you have Jinx. Aphelios is like not really in a playable position, so I don't know about that. But then you have like Twitch. Twitch, 6 items, is probably stronger than Smolder. Like there are very few champions right now that are stronger than Smolder. Do not go full early game, because guess what? Chovy is going to be up CS somehow against LeBlanc Lee Sin, probably get a kill, and he's just going to Chovy all over you. He's going to have 225 stacks at 18 minutes, which I think is actually physically impossible, but he's going to do it somehow, and they're going to win the game. Yeah, don't do that. If you want to go LeBlanc Lee Sin, you go 4 or 5 red side after we've seen who their mid laners, or after you banned out Smolder or something. Speaking of Solar, then what would T1's best course of action be versus Smolder? I just answered that. Yeah, I feel like Owner pops off the right time and wins the games for T1. The last, at least once in a hard series. Yeah, he says he's not confident, but this guy is just a monster, man. Imagine if he was confident. So indo pra casa. All right, well, drive safe. I think maybe you're driving. I don't know. I remember we saw Vagar one game. I don't remember when or who. Yeah, I don't think it was T1 that played Vagar though. This World Championship. Would Vigar be able to beat Smolder? Honestly, you just press arm. Smolder, maybe. Maybe you go Vigar. Maybe you go. Oh, maybe Russell's onto something. Maybe Russell's onto something. Actually, let me look at list of mid lane champions. List of champions. Lol. I do want to see the mid lane champions real quick. I'd rather look at a list. Like a list that I can actually see. Wait. List of champions here? Oh yeah, I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay. When we look here, what mid lane champion could you pick? Cassiopeia? I don't know about that. Yeah, there aren't that many like mid. You could go Hui and just completely outrange the Smolder. That's another option. You could just outrange him. I think Faker plays Hui. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't, but I think he does. What other mid lane champions could you play against Smolder? That are better in the late game? I don't know. It's kind of hard, man. Rise is a champion that could probably like match Smolder just because he's like late game. He's a machine gun. Let me catch up. T1 hate drafting scale. They always go for early game comps. Is why Gen G beats them all the time. Maybe, but are T1 a better late game scaling team? I don't think so. Say, should one player always mirror Chovy on his side lanes, side pushes? I have no idea. I know Chovy tends to be left in isolation too often. I don't know. They probably know a lot more about why they're letting Chovy do that, or like information that they have. I don't know. Side laning is like very actually complex nowadays in the game, especially when you have hex gates or you have like these super blast plans and you're playing like Nocturne Ari, like things that really could do stuff. Is very difficult. I swear someone played the bus. Oh, okay. Which leads to his scaling. Yeah, he does. He gets so much side lane farm. It's crazy. I swear someone played in LCS Spring when Smolder was completely broken, or MSI. Maybe actually. I think in LCS someone did try playing it. I don't think he won. I think they did try. Rise is outrange by Smolder. Yes, he is outrange by Smolder, but he has ulti, and he can like ulti Nautilus and himself onto Smolder. That's what I was thinking of Rise. Also late game, like if you have 2 tanks walking up to Rise, EQ, like somehow Smolder's getting hit because that thing just spreads all over the place. If Twitch mid wasn't complete troll, it feels a winnable matchup. Well, I was thinking more Twitch AD carry, right? Not Twitch mid. I don't think Twitch is Zeri. Like, okay, you don't want Faker playing Zeri. You don't want Guma playing Zeri. So I don't think Zeri is on the table, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think there's that many champions that you could play in the mid lane to outscale. Like, you don't have to outscale him in the mid. You could have like AD carry, like a Jinx. I feel like Jinx is like Kaelin's the opposite of what you want, right? You could have a Camille, right? You could just get a Camille and just say, okay, 3 items. Camille will be so strong with Sterax, like Cleaver, and or not Cleaver, like Sterax. What's the Tiamat item that she likes to get? Probably not Starbreaker, but she's gonna go Ravenous Hydra, and she's gonna go like the. Would you go Spear of Sojin as Camille? No, you probably go. Is it Spear? What's the crit item called? It's not Spear of Sojin. Wait, League items. I'm forgetting what it's called. It's the one that looks like a javelin. What is it called? I can't remember. It's called Sundered Sky. There we go. Well, yeah, you have Sundered Sky, you have like Ravenous Hydra, and you have like Sterax. You're just gonna kill the Smolder, even if he has 225 stacks, if you ult him. And with a Galio on top, like you could outscale the Smolder with different compositions, not necessarily mid lane champions. Isn't T1 red side ban locked on Yone, Aurora, Skarner? Gonna be rough with Smolder, Nidalee, Kasante all No, no, not Young Tao, dude. No one, not, dude, Young Tao is such a bad item. It just doesn't synergize with anyone. No one like think of Jack of all trades. Who buys 10 different like stats? It's just it makes no sense. What is Young Tao? Did they buff it or something? Wait, like Voltaic Cycloid. So where is Young? I don't see it. Did they remove it? Oh no, it's right here. Yeah, it gives you 50 AD, 20% attack speed, and then on hit gains 0.2% permanently up to 25. On hit attack gains 0.2% crit permanently up to 25. On attacking an enemy, championing a 30% bonus attack speed. Yeah, that's not something that Camille would want. For 4 seconds, attack reduces cooldown by 1 second, increased to 2 seconds with critical strike, 40-second cooldown. I don't know who needs 50 AD and 20 attack speed like that. Yeah. What should T1 be banning versus? Oh yeah, so Flower, yeah, and what you're saying, Shinji as well. What should T1 be banning versus Genji? They're locked in with Yone Aurora and smaller bans. So I don't know if Faker can play Aurora into Yone. Maybe you open the Yone, let them have Yone. You pick Aurora into it. But what happens if they pick Aurora? What are you going to play into Aurora? Aurora, then that leaves you open to a Nocturne Ari combination. You pick Ari. Well, guess what? Aurora doesn't care because she presses R, and you can't. It's so difficult. It's so difficult. Because they can't play. I don't know. Maybe you open the Smolder, you ban the Skarner, you play full dive, you play like a Camille Nocturne, Galio, Kaisa composition. I don't know. It's really hard. T1 should save support pick for a counter. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could go the Bard and what they were doing. Get carry out the champions that he wants to play. I think that's how they've been winning recently. But it's just such a difficult position to be in if you're T1 and you have to like somehow match Genji when there's so many OP picks for Genji. But knowing T1, they are going to prepare everything in their power. They played against Genji so many times. They must have something. Top counter lost value with lane swaps. That's true. I forgot about lane swaps. So even if you go Camille, they go Cassante, or Jax. They're so much more useful than you are because you're always going to be perpetually behind. I have a feeling like Azir Galio might be defining pick for or factor for T1 in this series. I don't think Azir. Probably Galio. I wouldn't be surprised to see Galio. But I'm really heartstruck to see Faker picking Azir when Azir is so weak right now. He's just way too weak. Since Faker can always be in team fights from side lanes, yeah, but Azir is just so weak right now. Like he doesn't win any lanes. He's not as powerful in the mid to late game. Like his grasp, Azir just doesn't is not it anymore. Or be present anywhere. Yeah, I think that's why maybe he might just stick with Ari and Silas. That might just be it. They might just be picking Ari, Silas, Galio, and those are like the 3 mid champions that we see. And then hopefully you counter team compositions elsewhere. Maybe you ban the Smolder, and you don't mind playing like an Ari versus Galio because you have Galio, and like maybe you give them the Rumble. I don't know. It's really difficult to even like, to be honest. Maybe they ban Rumble instead of Yone. Do you really want to give Chovy Yone? I don't know about that, man. I don't know, Russell. Giving Chovy Yone? That that's scary, man. Oh no, not picking Azir. I just meant like Azir from last year. Yeah, definitely. Dude, if Azir was disabled last year at Worlds, I'm pretty sure T1 don't win Worlds. Like it's just a very different game. Um, it was very played Azir to the absolute limit. It was very incredible to see Faker on Azir. Azir really get nerfed so hard that Riot are now buffing him on live patch. Oh, I didn't know that. They're buffing him on live patch. Okay, maybe I can play a few games of Azir before people catch on that he's strong. I gotta see what the wait 1421. He's already buffed. Can Faker play Aurora into Yone? I don't think T1 wants to lane swap versus GENG. I don't know that Faker can play Aurora. Recently, Faker has had a very limited champion pool. Have we seen a single Aurora game from Faker? Wait, Games of Legends. Faker. Why isn't it showing me Faker? Hello? Faker? He's played 0 games. Oh, he's played 1 game. He lost. He played 1 game of Aurora. He just lost on it, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe he does play it. Was he playing it versus Yone is the question. Because we saw his Yone, and his Yone was not clean. Let's go look at match list. Is it anywhere here? It must be somewhere here, right? Because it's a relatively new champion. Yeah, here it is. It was against Nongshim. It was against Nongshim. They were playing. Yeah, they were playing Aurora into Yone, and they lost that game. Fisher beat him. Huh. I mean, I don't know that he does play the game, man. I don't know that he does. He plays it. Just my opinion in NBA terms. Faker is LeBron. Chovy is Curry. Well, I think that's disrespectful to Faker, my man. Faker is Michael Jordan of League of Legends. He is not LeBron. Faker is Jordan. Chovy is pre-Miami LeBron. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I like that. Faker is Jordan. Absolutely. Chovy is pre-Miami LeBron. I would actually say I would even give Chovy the Kobe mantle. I put Kobe above LeBron. I know some people like think LeBron is better than Kobe. I just think they're objectively wrong. Checking Faker's recent OPGG, he's practicing Yone and Silas. And this GenG is like 2014, 2015 Warriors. That's the year they won. If you mean okay, Pandy, if you mean that they're gonna win, because the 2014, 2015 Warriors beat the Cavaliers in the finals. Okay, that comparison works. Yeah, yeah. I don't. I. The thing is, I think this Gen G team is more like 2017 and 2018, where they brought in like just a really super mega team. I mean, in terms of accolades, LeBron didn't win a chip before he went to Miami, and Chovy has no Worlds yet. Yeah, but he's won a bunch of domestic titles, and like he won MSI, which is a harder tournament than Worlds. They beat LeBron, Love, and Kyrie were out. Yeah, yeah. Kevin Love and Kyrie were out in 2015, 2014. Yes, that champ year Warriors won. Yeah, and Azir top for Zeus. Azir top for Zeus. I doubt to use it though. Makes me think, what situation would Azir be used in? What? He's practicing Azir top? Yeah, but LeBron MVPs are like domestic titles in MSI? No, 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 no. That is not true. Come on, man. The analogy falls there. Dude, who okay, Azir top. Have we ever seen Zeus play Azir? Uh Career history. How do I check all his champions? Wait, statistics? Oh, it only shows me oh, all. There we go. Okay, has he ever played Azir? Lucian, Karma, Maokai, Udyr, Tristana, Rek'Sai, Graves, Aurora, Kali, Tryndamere. He's never played it in an official game. That's for sure. Yeah, he's never played it in an official game. Dude, Azir top would be very strange. Why is Azir being brought up as champion's dead? They're playing Azir top, dude. Apparently, Zeus is spamming Azir top. I thought it was a dead champion too, don't get me wrong. But apparently, people are playing it. Go replay Swiss TES versus T1. You probably didn't watch the match? You just saw after game score? What? Completely choked. I did watch the game. I did. I swear. Whatever. All right. I do want to check. I do want to check the vote. Yeah, 62% of people think T1 should be favored over Gen. Is that reasonable? Azir top into what? Doesn't Gen just lane swap and Azir can't play the game? I don't know. I I I I don't know, man. This type of tech is maybe he's spamming it so he gets them to think that they're gonna play Azir top, and then he does it. I don't know what's going on. This is a level of like mind games that are beyond me. I think I've reached my limit on my intelligence. Like this is beyond me. Guma seems like he's practicing Callista, Varus, Ashe, and a bit of Kaisa. I only see one Ezreal game. He's really good on Varus. He's really good in Callista. He's good on Ashe. He's not very good at Kaisa. He really isn't. Compared to like Gala, compared to Viper, compared to like even Masu. Masu had some monster games on Kaisa, man. He's really good. Um Classic for him, yeah. Do we think the T1 should be favored? After all we said on like how Guma equals Kyrie, I like that. Guma is Kyrie. I like that. What's your favorite team? Which team do you cheer for, Pandas Andy? In the NBA? I think the more we talk about it, the less I think Genji T1 should be favored. But like from the gameplay that we saw, I just think maybe they should be favored. That's why I put up the poll. It's not because I think T1 should lose. Like I legit don't know who should be favored. It's very rare. I'm a Golden State guy. Hey, me too. Nice. T1 hasn't beaten Gen G in a series in a year and a half. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say no. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Maybe yeah, maybe until T1 actually beat Gen G, T1 cannot be favored. Everybody hates me for that. Why do they hate you for that, dude? Golden State is awesome. Or used to. Yeah. Okay. I will say this. I was always a Warriors fan, right? And then we have some really good years, and everyone starts like being like, "Oh, you suck. You're like, oh, you're just a bandwagon, or you don't care about them. Like you just like Curry." I'm like, dude, I was there when Curry got his first minute of playtime. Okay, I love the way he played the basketball, but I was just as skeptical as anyone else. I hate Steve Kerr for sabotaging Canada by not elting winged play. By not what? Oh, by not letting Wiggins play. Okay, 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 okay. Monty Ellis was the dude back then. Yeah, it was very different. Actually, a funny story. The reason I became a Golden State fan was like I thought their name, Golden State Warriors, was so cool. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a Golden State fan. Golden State Warriors when I first started watching the NBA because I used to play basketball, but I never really watched. And then I was a fan. And then Curry comes around. It's like, man, he's just shooting threes over and over, and like the plays that they would do, and like, dude, the him and Clay was just something. What year did you start watching? 2011, I think. Dude, people hated me in 2018 because of being Warrior fan. Yeah, it was real. I was so surprised because like in 2011, 2012, no one said anything. You're a Warriors fan? Oh, okay. And they move on with their lives. 2013, like okay, 2013, 2014, people didn't even realize how good the Warriors were. They didn't even realize that Steph Curry was a thing. They would watch him and be like, oh, it's just a guy who's shooting threes. Then 2015 comes around, like 2014, 2015 season, and everyone's like, up until the Warriors win, they're just like everyone's talking about LeBron. Everybody was talking about LeBron, right? It was Kobe at first. Kobe retires. Everyone's talking about LeBron. Curry doesn't even exist. No one even knows who Klay Thompson and Draymond Green are. Like, no one even cares. And then we win one year, and people are like, okay, whatever. We lose the next year, super unlucky. We win 2017, 28, like 2017 to 2018. People hated us so much for getting KD. People really hated us. So yeah, I'm not surprised that people hated you in 2018 for being a Warriors fan. It was definitely real. T1 specifically hasn't been this version of Genji within series. Closest I've seen was Spring 2024. Yeah, that's true. Okay, I think that we've gotten to our answer. T1 should not be favored, despite everything. They just shouldn't be favored. Raptors ended the dynasty. Imagine if Kawhi stayed. Now his trainer is filing a lawsuit on the Clippers. Oh, I didn't know about that. Okay, I won't say Kawhi ended the legacy. I think KD and Klay Thompson both getting injured ended the dynasty. I don't think there's any world where the Raptors win if KD doesn't re-injure himself and then Klay Thompson doesn't get injured. Like, I don't think there's any world where the Raptors were like actually favored. But I don't think the Raptors ended their dynasty. I really don't even think their dynasty really ended up until 2022. I think 2022 is when their dynasty ended. They won that last championship. It was like the same sort of team. 2023, I'm sorry. Maybe even 2024. Because Clay just left, right? And I think that's the end of the dynasty. Like they had some really good runs. They made it to every single final. They won like 3 out of 4 or 3 out of 5. And then they didn't make it because of injuries. Then when they were finally healthy in 2022, they made it back. They won. Series was cooked already by the time Clay went down, but KD actually hurt. And the game he played, they won. I mean, the game Clay injured himself, they won. I don't think the series was cooked. It was 2-1. I don't think it was like that cooked. Or was it 3-1? I still think they could have won. Like they definitely could have won with KD. I think they 4-0 with KD, honestly. They did win the game that Clay went down. Yeah, Curry and Clay got me to love basketball. Yeah, dude, their playstyle was so fun. Even if I wasn't a Golden State Warriors fan back in 2011, like as soon as I saw what they were doing, like just they were playing basketball at a very different level. Just they changed basketball. Yeah, that was 2019 series, and all that COVID stuff happened. Warriors were just bad. I mean, Steph Curry got injured. Like they were, yeah, it was a really bad time. I spotted a rare jungle game from Owner in solo queue where he played Kane. I thought I thought he was only spamming Smolder on lanes. Dude, that's really cool. I'd love to see a Kane game on World stage. That would be really awesome. That would be really, really cool. 2022 was a completely different supporting squad, and Clay wasn't even a big part. He was. It was Wiggins and Poole. Yes, okay. I agree. Oh, your message disappeared. Uh oh, there it is. Now Raptors were meant to win that year no matter what. I'm sorry, but like I don't know of a single person going into before KD got injured, not a single person predicted the Raptors, not a single person. Like straight up no one thought the Raptors was going to win. Wonder if it's a pocket pick since Kenyon uses Kane. Ooh, I would love to say Kane. Anyways, we've been going on for a while. I was hoping it was going to be like a shorter discussion, just talking about. We got into basketball. Basketball's fun, but yeah, I do think you guys have convinced me. I was gonna say honestly, I was gonna vote T1 to be favored over Gen just because of what we saw, but you guys have convinced me. T1 are not favorites. They cannot be favorites until they beat Gen Like they just can't. Nah, the crackers. Back to YouTube. Twitch too laggy. Really, Twitch is laggy? I noticed that actually. It was. I thought it was only laggy on my side. It was laggy on your side too, huh? I don't know. This is why I don't stream on Twitch. I don't actually pay attention to Twitch. You gained a sub from YKB. Who's YKB? LeBronto? Oh, that's funny. But there's a good 45 to 55% chance. Yeah, I agree, Shinji. I think it's really close, but I don't think it's fair to favor T1 until they actually beat Shinji. Oh, you got a sub from me, YKB. I don't know what YKB is, but thank you so much for subbing. You know, bro? Is that what YKB is? You know ball. Ah. Dude, I've never seen YKB before. Does anyone use YKB? Am I just like not hip? YKB meaning. Let me see. You know better is what people are saying YKB. Oh, you know ball. Okay. I see it. People are saying you know ball. Or you know best? Dang, I must be old. Comfy Rin reboot. I think this might be one of the few series where there's no favorite due to recent performance. World's meta is much different than summer. That could be it too. It could just be there's no favorite, it's a 50-50. But if you had to favor someone, I think you can't say T1 or favorite just because they have lost every single time. Just throw out Kobe has the best record for the most missed shots in NBA history. People on Twitter and the NBA community use it all the times. So I unfortunately cannot be on Twitter with like the NBA community because it spoils all the game. I don't watch a lot of the games. Like I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, but I live on the East Coast, which means their games sometimes they're playing at like midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So I can't. So then I wake up in the morning, I check Twitter, and it's spoilers. Like, oh my god, we scored, like we won, and I don't like that. So I unfortunately I used to follow on Twitter like the Golden State Warriors and all the people and KD and all these people. Like I had to unfollow everything because yeah, it spoils the games, and I like watching the games once I wake up. Like once I wake up, I get my breakfast, I watch the video, and then I get to work. I watch the game or the highlights. I think this might be just gonna throw, dude. I don't know where'd you get that from. Kobe has the most missed shots in NBA history. That has to be fake. People are shooting way more nowadays than back in Kobe's days. But since we have a conclusion of what to expect for semis, what about finals? BLG most likely. I want to see. Okay. What are the odds for Genji or T1 being in the finals? I think Genji have a better chance of beating BLG. I think BLG have a good matchup into T1, but T1, the way they're looking, really could win it all. However, as an LPL fan, as an Elk super fan, I have to say BLG are gonna win it all. Not because I'm being a super fan. I'm just letting you know that I am a super fan. Not because I'm being a super fan, but because of very specific things. I think Elk has the best champ pool out of all the 80 carries remaining. Pays had a really bad series. T1, you look at Guma, he doesn't play the Kaisa, he doesn't play the Zeri, he doesn't play. He's not. I feel like there are certain champions that he doesn't play. I don't know if he plays a Jinx right now. Hopefully he should be able to play Jinx Kench. Like he's Guma. I think Knight is much more flexible than Faker, and I think Knight is one of the few players in the world that can match Chovy. Bin is the best top lane in the world. Like Zeus, Keen, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Bin is the best top lane in the world, bar none. And then I just think they have that level of team fight prowess that just, I mean, just look at Elk Kaisa, game 4. Look at what Galio was doing. Look at On playing Rakan like super clean. They just have this team fight where they just don't lose. I don't know how to explain it, but they just play so beautifully, like a symphony. And I think that they can do it. I think they're gonna win Worlds. Don't hate me, but I think they can do it. Do you watch Inside the NBA on TNT? They're losing their rights next year, unfortunately. I used to watch it. I stopped watching it. Shinji, I think Weibo is being underestimated. I swear they're a good team. I think it's close. I think Weibo BLG is more like a 55-45 than like a 70-30. I actually think Weibo, like Tarzan wants to make it to the finals. Weibo are being underestimated for sure. BLG looked good. They smacked Hamo like 3-1 like it was nothing. Couldn't believe it. Yeah. I just think BLG are going to do it. I think it's the year of Night. Like, last year, he wasn't able to win. This year, he's going to win it. Unfortunately, he's not going to have the golden road. Sucks for him, but he's going to do it. You just cursed? No. I'm not cursing anyone. I thought Up was playing not so good after spring, but I've revised now. On has been inting him a lot. Honestly, On didn't play too bad in summer, but On was inting in Swiss for sure. What about Guma's Neela and Caitlyn picks? Okay, if they're picking the Neela, they have a whole nother card. If Guma's playing Neela Samira, this matchup just got that much more interesting. Caitlyn, unfortunately, the way Genji play, they scale to late. Caitlyn might be good against BLG, but I don't actually think she's good against Genji when you're just gonna scale and play Twitch and just like lose gracefully, like lane swap, and then end up just being better, like in the late game. BLG look like the Celtics right now, no cap. Bin is Jason Tatum. Yeah, that's right. You just cursed BLG losing versus Weibo. They're not losing, brother. They're not losing, Flower. I wouldn't be surprised if the future says a Weibo versus T. I would be very sad to see Weibo versus T1. I would be very sad. I would be okay with Weibo versus Genji. I would be okay with Gen G BLG, T1 BLG, but Weibo T1, a rematch in the finals is not what I want to happen. It's just not. Knight versus Chovy would be nice. At least one of them can earn the T1 fan respect. That would be very cool. Knight, Jalen Brown, finals MVP. Yeah. He was very, very important to what the Celtics had done. I'm happy for Boston. I'm not a Boston fan. Obviously, I was really happy when we beat them, but like they deserve their chip after a while, you know. It's just they just have so much talent in those among their players. Like Jalen Brown, just as Tatum, like the whole system, everything about them, they just have so much talent that it's nice that they finally won their accolade, their worlds. Anyways, I'm gonna end stream here. I got no interview. I'm so sad. I got no interviews tomorrow. I don't even know if I'm gonna upload the scrums tomorrow. We'll see. But there will be World's Hot Take. We will talk about the BLG Weibo series. We'll talk a little bit more about T1, Gen G. We kind of already talked about everything, but we'll talk about it again because who doesn't want to talk more about these two teams? And then on Sunday, I'm definitely going to be uploading a scrum. I don't know if I'm going to get an interview. Hopefully I get an interview Sunday, but we'll see. BLG might win it all. I think so too. Yeah. Streaming after the games tomorrow. Not after the games. Sorry. Not after the games. Same time around this time. Like tomorrow night. I won't be streaming after the games. That's what I'm saying. That's how BLG played. Like the Celtics. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so to clarify, World Hot Takes will not be after the games. It'll be at night. I'll be going out with a friend tomorrow after the games, and then Sunday, same thing. I'm going out with family. So towards like right now it's 9:30, so 8 p.m. Is what I'm gonna do. Great, great talk though. Looking forward to Sunday's matchup. Absolutely, I'm gonna need health insurance for it. I'm not surprised, man. I think we all. I'm just hoping for a banger. Don't give us a 3-0. Give us 3-2, please. Silver scrapes. All right, take care, guys. Bye. Good night.